This freaking cat.
What do you want? She really wants to play. You really want to play, huh?
Well, the guy at Forbes, Nathan Vardy, who wrote the For Blood and Money book, which I still haven't read, Vardy asked me who belongs on the Forbes 30 under 30, and I just mentioned Vivek because he was my largest stockholder at the time, or one of them, and Vivek's story was even more impressive than maybe I realized. Top crackheads under 30. Oh, this is a Kizo, not a Kiro. I thought this was a Kiro. Oops. This is a Chinese company. They are publicly traded. Bit of an ARB here. Well, maybe not a huge ARB, but okay, so they got the license a while back. So there's no excuse. This cat's killing me. Shut up. When to sell a stock? I don't know. COVID's kind of over, if you haven't noticed. No more COVID. Yeah, so it's up a lot on Chinese data. The question is the Chinese data reliable? Sometimes it isn't. It's hard to say. It depends exactly on the results, exactly, there's a bunch of details, but oh, Lord. So they're doing a phase 3, Harmony 3. Yeah, I have allergies. I don't think Birdman made $1 billion now. Fun to say it. It's a lot of records. Maybe. I think maybe all the records he's ever had his hands on in total grossed over $1 billion. Yeah, possibly. I mean, you got Drake and Lil Wayne in there. That's two big ones. I'll show you the key to like analyzing the all right, 322. Let's analyze this trial a little bit. 322 patients, 54% reduction in disease progression or death. I don't think that's the result that we care about, right? We care about the new result. The new result is just, I think, oh, okay, here it is. It's not in the right place, but it's all right. They're having a conference call, or they had one. 49% versus Pembro in first line, PD-L1 positive. Okay. Median PFS of 11 months versus 6 months. So basically, we have to check if this is the right number, right, for Keytruda. Because if this number is a little bit too high and this number is a little bit too low, then you can kind of make some conclusions from that. But if the Keytruda number is very good, or is comports with what has already been reported, then you can assume the trial was run relatively well to some extent. Here's a study that we can maybe glance at. Here's another one. Huh. Wait a second. I don't know. This may not be what maybe the market's getting too excited here. Shoggoth isn't canceled. I'm just ruminating on the best way to make the comeback. Crypto's been very, very unlucky for me. So far, all my crypto projects have been a waste of money and a waste of time. So do you guys see, chat, do you see what I see here? I don't know, I might short this for an intraday trade. So basically the idea Um, hmm. Yeah. I mean, I still think they'll get like a big partnership and all this stuff.
The prime officer, Dr. Mackey Zungan, our chief executive question. And with that, I would like to hand the call over to Jack to speak to our Harmony 2 trial that was
as compared to monotherapy pembrolizumab that with squamous non-small cell.
Looks fairly balanced. Just a little bit of imbalance with the metastases, but not enough to sway the trial, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know if you see. It's really hard to tell if. I mean, there's clear separation. I would concede that. But this data can still mature a little bit more. I guess one perspective to keep here is Keytruda is such a big seller that even if one, all the benefit driven by, okay, well, 3B is small group here. It's almost all four. Healthier did better, but that's a small group too. I guess one way to look at it is, look, even if the benefit narrows, which I suspect it will, are you going to get people switching over? Will doctors switch over? Because after all, better is better, right? Any amount better is better.
Of course, it kept the development portfolio.
Yeah, this is Jack. I spent essentially every minute of yesterday after the presidential session speaking to my colleagues, and I would say it's not surprising to me, it shouldn't be surprising to anybody that there was really enthusiastic support and excitement about this among my colleagues in the lung cancer community. Really because, and this is, I think, a tone set by the person who provided expert commentary on our presentation at the presidential session, that we have been at what seems kind of like an impasse in what we could achieve, a plateau in the results, pretty much since the presentation of the original data that led to monotherapy with immunotherapy back in 2016, and that ushered in a new era. But what we've had since then has been largely achieving an elevated level of outcomes, but couldn't move past that until what we saw yesterday. And this was, importantly, I think people recognize that this wasn't a narrow win where you could squint and see the differences between the two curves, but this was really an encouraging sea change in what we can hope to expect for patients. And everyone is really hoping that this is going to usher in a new era of better outcomes, a meaningful improvement for patients, and ideally also a broader range of patients who are beneficiaries of immunotherapy. Because we think that's really one of the biggest issues, is that while we recognize it's been a great improvement over the last 8 years or so to have the tools we've had, they work for a subset of patients, but even when you give monotherapy like pembrolizumab, the response rate in the KEYNOTE-024 trial is 45%, which means that more than half are not having a response. And so if you can meaningfully raise that bar and particularly have more patients with the disease control and not have as many patients progressing, then that's really great. And the implication is also that this is just the beginning of all that we hope to do and plan to do.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, it could be cheap. It could be a cheap stock. I'm waffling on this one because I still want to look at the data, but it does seem like in a controlled study they beat Keytruda, and Keytruda is selling $20 billion in revenue, almost all profit. You might have to buy this one. Chase the hype. You know they're going to do a big secondary tonight, but that's almost to be expected. Bob Duggan is such a trusted guy in biopharma. Yeah, right? Someone has to learn their chirality. Yeah, I mean, the only... There's a couple pieces of diligence here. Yeah, the Scientologist, man. We have to... I don't think it changes the landscape for Iova, because this is first line and they're really treating last line patients. But I guess if you look at that 5.8 number, if it was really 7.4, in other words here, your curves are so close at that point that 1 or 2 patients gets you back to sort of what you'd expect. Oof, this is a tough one. On one hand, you have Bob Duggan, the pharmacyclics maestro. No, the market cap of this is $12 billion. This is survival. So these are, the red line is people on Keytruda, which is Merck's best-selling cancer drug, one of the best-selling drugs in the world. The blue line is people on this new drug from SMMT, Summit. Shush, kitty. Shush. Oh, you be quiet. He's a little baby. Do you guys hear him meowing? Silly kitty. It does look better than Merck, yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks better than Merck. How'd these guys do? Median PFS 8.6. That's even better. Oh, I really don't want to say something negative and then have it come back to haunt me. Ugh. It certainly looks better than Saba. I mean, it could be a real breakthrough. This is a bigger study. Chinese patients are also a little bit different than US patients. Not very different, but a little bit. Whoa, 10.3 here? That's weird. Open label. One sec. Ow, kitty! Ow, kitty, you stop scratching me. lasted for this. So basically the idea is like, okay, your drug did 11 months, and you're saying that's better because the other drug did 6 months. But something's wrong with this, because typically people who get that drug don't live for 6 months or have PFS for 6 months. They usually get, no, this is a better long, way better long. Sava's not a long. It's really odd. Shush up, kitty. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a while before we see more clinical trial results. And this data is a little sus. Because you can give, I mean, I guess the reason you don't want to give Avastin is it's toxic. I do analyze. We're trying to get our head around this result. Yeah, the China thing doesn't help. A lot of Chinese studies don't exactly replicate, but a lot do too. This is really tricky. Summit is one of the largest biotech companies in the world now. They have one drug, ivonescimab. And we're just trying to see if this result is legit or not. I don't think we're going to get the answer today, but I do think you have a very unusually low performance for the control group. But the thing about controlled studies is you kind of have to believe them. Like, I don't know, like, it was such a big benefit. It's really hard to say that this is like something that shouldn't be trusted or like something that, you know, should be avoided. Really tricky. You think about the valuation, 12 billion. Well, now it's even higher. 15 billion. just non-small cells, like 15 billion in revenue potential. This is tricky. Because I guess if you think about it that way, if it's 50-50 that this holds up, relatively high discount rate, there's not that much upside. It might double. And then, of course, if your 50-50 is right, you double again. The problem with looking at the other studies is that this trial is supposed to represent the randomized sample. So looking at another study, like Keynote 024, was done by the Keynote 024 investigators, which is a different sample. Right? Those are maybe like tertiary hospitals, academic centers. This one might have been rural Chinese hospitals. Very big difference. And Keynote 024 was open label. I mean, typically, you do get rapid progression early on. That's not uncommon, I don't think. Maybe we'll look at Keynote 024. Yeah. Fairly common within 3 months to already be down to 70%. It's almost unusual. The only unusual part about this is drug. Yeah, the inclusion and exclusion is important. The baseline is even more important. Okay, so they had some PD-L1. That's interesting. Here's PD-L1 low and PD-L1 high. And if you look at that, median PFS, sort of the same. A little faster here, a little slower here. But either way, it's a win. I don't know, it looks like a W. If I had to sort of put everything against each other, all the puts and takes, I'd sort of narrowly edge out on the W. The problem is it's like really hard to... It's the old Buffett saying, you know, do I have to make a bet? You don't have to make you don't ever have to make a bet. But you do have clear separation. You have Bob Duggan, who presumably isn't a fraudster, rich enough he doesn't need to do this twice. The guy's just becoming a legend right now. It's funny, this used to be a 3 to 6 month PFS and OS. Now you're, like a 6 month OS. Now you're talking about 22, 28, maybe even 30 months here on overall survival. Incredible. More time to say goodbye, I suppose, and maybe some patients even get cured. But this data will mature more.
And as it matures, I expect these lines will get a little closer, but they're probably not going to get so close to overlap or come close to that. He owns 80%? No way! This fucking guy. God damn. Damn. He's up. This guy is up 12 B's on this thing. Damn. You heard that, chat? 12 billion. Man, I'm a hater. Jealous. Jealous hater right now. So hateful. I'm ready to host the player haters ball.
I mean, it's crazy to think about it. Like, you.
Broke it.
Yeah, 18 bill. Good for this guy. And if he gets to 70 billion, I mean, I don't know what to say. And how did the Baker brothers get in on this? Yeah. I don't know. I'd maybe be long 50 basis points. I think that's going to be my final verdict here. Man, this is tricky. The other problem is I don't think momentum's going to work in this market. This MOA sucks. The rationale is you have the other arm of PD1 anchoring the cell and the other arm of VEGF anchoring the vasculature, but I'm not sure I buy that at all. At higher, maybe they just got the dose right, because at higher doses you're going to get the VEGF adverse events. I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be better than Keytruda, which is like basically going to get you a, let me see here, I don't know, $100 stock at least, something like that. But it's going to take time. Like, they have to show that result again. And before, that's assuming the result happens, they'll get to, well, then you have other indications possibly. Well, I guess what they could do, to 827's point, is do a melanoma study or do a single arm study and see if you can't get replicatable, like, or gets better. I guess you still have to get better than Keytruda. Yeah, these studies take a while, like especially the adjuvant studies, stage 3 studies. Stage 3 lung cancer, not phase 3 clinical trial. Price of the brick is going up. Yeah, this is so tricky. See, I just wouldn't advocate. Like, if you really want a speculative, crazy, high flyer stock, this might be a decent long, but I'm not sure that's the. Whew. It is definitely a wild animal. This thing is going to be interesting for years to come. Years to come.